You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Ben Amin and Tatiana Keene Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
Welcome to the Fan Bros, the show where the bros are fans. Doodle.
And what's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds Show, the podcast that discusses geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. The voice of the urban geek, and here in the captain's chair, as always, is your boy, DJ Ben Amin, a.k.a. Dr. Steven Slang, the Sorcerer Supreme, Clientele. Toss a coin to your ninja. Bobby Filet, the Beverly Shrillbilly, Soldier 70 Spliff, Doctor Who's Mans is this? Hash Ketchum, Meet Millhouse here in the spaceship tonight. And as always, I'm joined by
Tatiana Keene, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as Doc Aki, he who cannot be shamed. Doctor doing something strange for a little change. Flex Luthor, Deuce Piccolo, Sean Jean-Luc Picard, and the Ting of the North.
You gonna have two sound effects on your name tonight because Luna got to drop that change on your name and that Ting of the North.
Give me the Witcher coin effect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You know how we do. Toss a coin to your ninja every time.
Yeah.
And we are back here on For All Nerds, like you know and love. Thank you for joining us. You could be anywhere, but you're right here with us. And like we said before, we have a new format for our show, which is focal points. We need a drop for that as well, you know. Let's get that going right there. Yes, focal points, where we discuss a topic that's near and dear to the For All Nerds fam out there. Thank you once again. And tonight, what are we talking about, Tatiana?
Today we discuss, depending on who you're reading, do fan theories help or harm the experience? And by the experience, we mean the entertainment experience. We mean the movie-going experience, the TV show watching experience, the comic book reading experience, or whatever it is. Do the rampant fan theories that are incessantly cropping up whenever anything happens or anything comes out for a new show, movie. For example, when you get to a new trailer for a movie, particularly highly anticipated movies, you get, including from For All Nerds, you get this barrel of either laughs or tears when it comes to the different theories about who's going to be in the movie and what is the movie going to be about, and did these two blocks in the sky form, Ultron, or, like all these weird things that people come up with, including us, and I have to throw ourselves in there because that's part of what we do, right? In some ways, it's part of the fun, and I actually love fan theories. I love like all of the outrageous and ridiculous things that come out because I just find it absolutely humorous. And sometimes I'm like, bro, you're doing too much. You're dragging it. We're getting a little off the deep end. What do you think, Ben?
Well, sometimes we've been told we're doing too much. And right now, everyone is talking about Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, MOM. And there's a lot of doing too much, going on. I mean, actually right now, the Super Bowl just popped off. We're going to be talking about Doctor Strange. And it was like there was a couple of trailers. There was Nope. There was Doctor Strange. There was Moon Knight. As always with any Marvel trailer, there is just a ton of speculation. And this Doctor Strange trailer invited a ton of speculation. So people are going off the chain about this right now. We're going to dive all into that. But that is the big question. And this is something that I've wrestled with for years. Because I used to be like, yo, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
But I know some people who don't watch trailers even, and that's kind of like bugged out to me. Like, dang, you don't even watch the trailer. But then I'm like, yo, that must be an ill experience going into the theater and having seen
Right.
nothing from it.
Well, I thought you've done that before for certain movies where you've purposely did not watch a trailer because for multiple reasons, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes some trailers give away everything right
Yep.
in the 30 seconds to 2 minutes of the trailer, and it's like you don't want that hindering your thoughts. And
Mhm.
I understand that concept of just not watching the trailers and just going in just with relatively as little information as possible, because to me part of the consumption of entertainment and stuff, depending on what it is about your letting your imagination go, and whatever you imagine, to me, like, one of the best feelings is like when you're thinking one thing and it's totally swerves on you, but in a good way. I don't
Mhm.
mean like an M. Night Shyamalan type swerve. I mean like when it's just like, all right, I thought so and so's going to show up, and it's like, oh shit, wow, okay. So a swerve for me, for example, I knew using Spider-Man, for example, No Way Home, or Far From Home rather. Like I knew, wait, was this No Way Home or Far From Home?
No Way
Everything.
Home.
Thank you, No Way Home. I knew like certain people were gonna cameo in the film. I knew all these random villains from all across the Spider-Man universes were gonna show up. I knew a little bit that, the Spideys were all gonna be there. They said that certain other people would show up. When Matt Murdock showed up, I knew he was coming, but I didn't know he was coming like that.
Mhm.
You understand? And that's
Yep.
and that's because I purposely didn't overindulge in what people were saying online or watching things that people were putting together on the YouTubes or this and that. So I understand people who were like, you know what, I'm not even doing it. I'm not sullying my experience because I want to allow myself to be surprised. A lot of people like surprises. I do. I like good surprises.
I do too. And there, like you said, for certain movies, I have cut myself off. Like after maybe the first two trailers, I think, or even the first trailer for Infinity War and Endgame, I definitely stopped watching things. I would not watch anything when the commercials came on. I'd be like, I'm not hearing that. But for, lately I've kind of leaned the other way. For the most part, for Far From Home, I watched most of the No Way Home, I watched most of the trailers. For Doctor Strange, I've now seen both of the trailers. I've seen and read a lot of breakdown on Doctor Strange that is speculation, some plot leaks, some like reviews of people who claim to have seen it. I stopped myself on a lot of those when I'm like, okay, I don't want to know too much. I was even watching a review of the trailer today, and I stopped myself on that because I was like, yo, this dude might be getting things right, and I don't want to know, all the general plot of the movie. I just want to know. But it's one of those weird things because certain things like you said, knowing Matt Murdock was in it did not bother me. Knowing the Spider-Man were in it did not really bother me because I didn't know how they were going to be in it.
Right.
So when they showed up, I was still like, oh shit.
You were still excited, and that's what I don't want ruined. And why, to that point, like, I'm gonna watch the trailers. Like, I will talk about what I see in the trailers, but I'm going to always add a very generous grain of salt, or lots of salt to it, salt-based salt to it if I have to. And I'm going to avoid people who are really like, and I don't know if we're gonna ever go back to doing that, but people who are like super breaking down every frame of the trailer, I'm seeing myself avoiding things like that because it's just like I don't want to ruin the experience for me either. Like I want that the payoff that can happen when you make yourself not know everything, or you don't try to whittle down every single piece of a trailer or a little type of information to its very molecular essence. Like, to me, it's like once you do all that, you've squeezed all the juice out of it. And then when it happens on screen, like, do you get satisfaction by saying, yep, I saw that? Or you're sitting there like, damn, everything I said came true. Oh, wow. Like, understand? Like, and also like another reason, because like you and I, when we do our speculations, things, like our hit rate's pretty high.
Yes.
So, like, we go to a degree, but we don't get, like I said, we're not fucking chopping it down to the quantum realm level of information where at that point it just becomes unenjoyable once or if it becomes true.
Some would argue that we do.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, especially on our review shows. And like you said, we definitely seem to hit a lot of things, but that's once we've gotten into a show and we're on the 4th or 5th episode and plot lines are just going away where it wouldn't make it wouldn't make sense for them not to go that way, because then you would have a bad storytelling, and we trust these people to have good storytelling skills by that point. So we're like, this is where it's probably going, just because this is what the story is saying it's
and
doing.
That's different. We're analyzing an active story that everyone's in the middle of, including us. The stuff we're talking about for today's show is like a trailer before anything pops up, before anything is confirmed, before anything is official. This is literally speculation versus reality at this point. And that's when, like I said, it's like, that's where I feel like that's where the gap begins about who's going into the deep end with this and who's just stopping just short.
Like I say, some people have said we've gone into the deep end sometimes. I feel sometimes we have gone into the deep end. Yeah, sometimes we go into the deep end in jest and, just to make some jokes, and they might go over people's heads.
Yeah. We're getting these jokes off no matter what.
No matter what. Now, like we said, the Doctor Strange trailer did drop. And there's been a ton of speculation about it. I know that... the fan want to hear our thoughts on it, how we felt about it. We are already hyped for
how
this.
we felt about it. Yeah.
That goes without saying. We're hyped. This is Marvel. We're hyped. We're in on it. Views from the 616. You know how we do. We're all the way in on it. Now, as far as like what's going on in it, what's happening, I don't know. I don't know any more than most people know. Like,
this is my third day out here. I don't know.
Yeah, I've watched it, a few times. I've watched some breakdowns on it. There's a lot going on, and it's still a lot of speculation and fan theories, and that's what really bugs my mind. Like right now, people are just going off. They're like, Strange Supreme's in this. You saw What If? You ain't seen What If? You ain't watched What If? You don't know Strange Supreme up in here? And I'm like,
there's merit to those yells, to those shouts. There's some merit there, just off of a context clue basis. There's absolute merit to watching What If, just like there's merit to making sure you watch every single Marvel MCU movie that's come out. There's going to be merits that come out of all of it. The more you know, right? With the star floating across the sky. Yes. Is it absolutely required? No. And that's the beauty of Kevin Feige's MCU. You don't necessarily need to know everything. Will knowing more or everything deepen the experience for you? Color more of what's happening on the screen or the page for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it absolutely required to the point where it's just like, well, if you ain't seen What's If, you might as well get the fuck out of here? Like, no. And also, y'all have to remember, yes, What If is going to influence this a lot, but also y'all have to remember a lot of stuff has been filmed, been done before certain things. Like certain things that when you see stuff come out of any production house or any studio or whatever, these things are not done sequentially. Some things were done years ago, some things were done last week, some things were done right before something come out, some things were purposely done, in certain order so that it all matched up the right way. But it's not necessarily that's what it is. Like, you can't necessarily find causality to say, oh, I saw that in What If, so that means this is going to happen in Doctor Strange. That may not happen at all.
Yes, definitely. Certain things in the trailer, like Wanda, talking about, I become the villain, is obviously a callback to WandaVision. There is the Shuma Gorath Gargantor. What is my man's name again? I can never remember that damn name. Gargantos.
I mean,
Gargantos looking thing where we've seen the tentacles and the eye and What If.
Yes. And you also have to understand, like, some of that stuff is, like you said, is obvious references. Some of it is similar, but probably they will flip it on you and be completely different. Because if you remember, the premise of the multiverse is everything is different. There is different comment. It's a Rubik's Cube of people, places, and things. There is going to be a slight change on what you may know or what you remember seeing, even from What If. Even though What If was just a minute ago, there's still going to be some twists and turns, and they're going to say, "Oh no, that's not so and so. That's not Strange Supreme. That's Strange Ultra or some dumb shit." Like, it's going to be some wild shit like that, and not for that example specifically, but you get my point that there are going to be flips and twists of what you had previously saw, because that's how Marvel do. We had said that on the Views from the 616 at Views from 616 Twitter page. Whatever you think you see or what you see in a Marvel trailer, it's all a lie. She lied, guys. She lied. I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, we learned that years ago, right?
But at the same time, there's a lot of truth in these Marvel trailers. That's the other thing. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, damn, what do I believe? Because as we've seen from the Spider-Man No Way Home trailers, those things weren't altered the way people thought they were altered. People were sitting there like, yo, that shot is going to be a different Spider-Man standing there on the bridge. And no, it was Tom Holland standing there on the bridge, you know? It's like, that's what I mean. People acted like it was to be some whole other thing. There were definitely things taken out. But we knew that going in because we knew they didn't want to show you all the Spider-Men that everyone had already was like, yo, they're in here.
Yeah.
So
but that's still an alteration, taking things out.
Oh, definitely. And with this Doctor Strange trailer, I think there might be things taken out or there might be people replacing shots. But at the same time, I don't know. I think it just might be the people we see in those shots.
Colors are a big thing that Marvel lies about. If you remember from Infinity War and Endgame, the colors of certain stones in certain places were completely changed. Lies, falsifications in your face. So, like, I also wouldn't rely on too hard on seeing certain colors or certain things, even in the trailer, because they can absolutely change that and flip the script on you. And it's like, and perhaps it's in a way, it's a multiverse of madness for all of us as viewers, right? What is the truth? What was the reason, right? Like, what's the truth? What's been fantasized or changed so that we get thrown off the course?
And
go ahead.
And so that we get hype over this. You know, that's the thing.
Get hype. And that's where we come back to the basis of fan theories and all this stuff, because there's some that could be these theories based off pure, like, yeah, it's like, okay, this makes sense just from a logic standpoint. And there's stuff that's just like, you're just saying this because you saw a shadow that looked like Jesus. And now all of a sudden it's this. Like, you know, like say, oh, I saw Jesus in this piece of toast. It's like, did you really? And it just reminds me, all of that stuff, like when people say, oh, I see this and I see that, it reminds me of a Rorschach test. Like, what do you see versus what you think you see? Like, what's actually there versus what is your imagination or even your personal lived experience engineering to make you see? Prime example, when you sitting outside, say you're laying outside in a beautiful meadow, nice cumulus clouds in the sky, you're looking up, just feeling the breeze, and you see different shapes, animals, people, things, places in the clouds. It's going to look different to different people, or depending on if you say you're with someone, you can potentially persuade them or influence them to say, oh, I see a bird in that cloud. See the wings there? And then they go, yeah. You know what? You're right. It looks like a Fruity Loops bird. It's like, okay, cool. And that same type of approach happens with trailers. It happens with the theories where things could just seem absolutely outrageous, but someone is just convincing enough, or someone has a shared experience, or someone, you just want it to be right. You just want that to be the case. So you're like, damn, I did see Nightcrawler there. Never mind, doesn't make any sense, but I did see Nightcrawler. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in all of that, we also have a very strong, powerful force called plausible deniability. And that is what Kevin and friends bank on when they give us these trailers and they say XYZ is happening or pretend that XYZ is happening, because they're going to say, well, we ain't say that specifically. Or you could say, oh, I saw, for example, Ben, we're going to talk about the Doctor Strange poster and what we see in there. There are some things that are obviously like, yeah, that's what it is. And there's some things that it looks like, depending on how the light changes, it could be something else. Plausible deniability.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about the big things that we see or that people are saying they see in both the Doctor Strange poster and the Doctor Strange trailer. First up, the two main things, just to get out of the way for the Doctor Strange poster, that people are saying they see are Captain Carter's shield from the What If series, where Peggy Carter gained the powers of the super soldier serum and became Captain Carter. And our good friend Deadpool.
Right. Now, I saw these images, and the Captain Carter shield is actually it's in 4K HD 1080p. All that stuff. You know, it's all of the it's all of the thing. You know, it's 8K at that point. And for one reason or another, it's 8K. Okay. Then this Deadpool thing, where I'm like, to me, it's like the Jesus silhouette theory, where I'm just like, okay, y'all, this is in 8-bit font or 8-bit, resolution. Are y'all sure that's what it is? Now,
Super
when you put
Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
When you put the clear picture of Deadpool next to it, so what they said, it was Deadpool where he has his hands, he's doing the shush gesture. And when you put it side by side, yes, you can say that's what it is. But is this what I said? Is this the cloud shape theory, where it's just like someone is just either, and not to say that there's any negativity behind it. It's just someone is just convincing enough, or it's just like, well, you know what, that aligns with what I want to see. So yeah, I'm going to say that's what it is.
All right. Now, as far as the trailer, there's a lot in it, a lot of going on, all kind of mishmash or whatnot. But the big things that everyone has been talking about are Patrick Stewart's voice at 1:19 in the trailer. I already know the time. That's how many times it's been referenced.
You can't tell me otherwise. That's that nigga.
We already know that. His voice is unmistakable. There's no denying that it's Patrick Stewart's voice, saying we might as well tell him the truth. Which leads us to the other part of the equation. Patrick Stewart is most known in comic book realm for playing Professor X.
Best
this
Professor
man
X ever.
Right here. Yeah, I mean, McAvoy was definitely dope, but yeah, I'll go with Stewart.
Best Professor. This ain't no shade to McAvoy. McAvoy's cool. That's a different time.
Yeah.
Best Professor X ever, and the person who's always in my mind was Professor X, Patrick Stewart.
Everyone.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Everyone. So we have Patrick Stewart sitting at a table or a dais with like 6 other cats, right? Or 6 of them total. There are 6 chairs in this.
There's definitely 6? Okay.
There's definitely 6.
Which may be erased or added on when we see the movie.
There we go. Which is the number of the Illuminati, which from the comic books is a group of individuals that I'm now forming right here. That is basically like the Illuminati that everyone imagines in, our world, where it's like a bunch of dudes behind the scenes. They basically retcon these characters into having influence throughout Marvel's history.
A bunch of white dudes?
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I don't know if Namor counts as Middle Pacific Islander at this point.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
I don't know. By the way, twitch.tv/forallnerds. Shout out to y'all in the chat. We know y'all going wild. The only way you are seeing what Ben is doing with all of these characters is if you are following and subscribe to us on the twitch.tv/forallnerds.
There we go. And a quick rundown for those listening. We have Black Bolt of the Inhumans. We have your man, Iron Man, Tony Stark. We have Namor, the only one who might not be a white man, the Submariner himself, King of Atlantis, Professor X, and Doctor Strange. Also, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, but I don't have a figure of him yet, so sorry.
Okay.
So there we go. That's the Illuminati in the comic books. Now, speculation is running rampant as to who the Illuminati will be in the MCU, or at least this variant version of the Illuminati, because there might still be another Illuminati in the 616. Who knows? Maybe this is happening in the 616. We don't know. We do see the Ultron-like drones, which leads to the idea that Tony Stark, or a variant of him, is on this Illuminati, has one of those seats. We also see someone walking in the background who looks like the Baron Mordo variant that we're probably seeing in the trailer.
With the Tyler Perry wig?
With the Tyler Perry wig.
With the Tyler Perry Shamar Moore wig.
And the sword on his back. We see that, shadow, but that could easily be changed. We also see someone sitting who looks like he's wearing the old school Fantastic Four uniform when you zoom in on it. There's another one who looks like it could be Dr. Doom. It's a lot. Who knows? And once again, these are like shadows and images, like Tatiana said, the cloud theory. So who really knows what it is?
Right.
This is so much speculation.
I imagine Kevin and the rest of Marvel, like the real higher ups, fucking dying laughing at us. And like, we look like Charlie from Sunny in Philadelphia on the board, like pointing to all of these crisscrosses and lines and pictures and shit. And they are laughing their asses off like y'all niggas are ridiculous.
Yes. The other big one coming out of the trailer is the image of whoever this fiery suited person is fighting a version of Scarlet Witch in this thing.
This goes back to my expression of cloud theory, as we're calling it now, and why I started laughing when like the first images started coming out and people started saying who it is. So this as you say, this fiery looking person, this person looks like they're wearing a suit or could be flying around with fire behind them or whatever the case may be. Quite literally, in the span of 48 hours, 3 to 4 different characters have been attributed to this image. And out of the 3 or 4, one is a woman, one is a man, or 2 are men, and one could be a robot. Like, it's just
okay, run
out
her
of
down.
control. So what I've heard, and maybe you've heard more, and maybe there's even more. It's been time. I've heard first people say, "Oh, that's Maria Rambeau."
Yep.
Because this is a variant. This is, the multiverse is the variant when Maria gets the powers instead of Monica, and then there's all some other, they said a whole bunch of shit.
Instead of Carol.
Instead of Carol. And it's all and it's all this different thing. And I'm like, all right, they said
Lashana Lynch returned.
Right. And they said this could be her because Lashana Lynch now she has short hair and at first the character appeared to maybe present as black. So they figure, oh yeah, maybe that's it. And that's one frame. Then when you scoot over the frame half a second later, the image morphs to a black man. Who this black man may be, I don't know. Because people's like, well, no, that's still Lashana's short hair. And they're like, but it's clearly a more muscular, masculine definition.
Kang.
Then people say, no, that's a Ultron type robot because his eyes is glowing and it's just moving fast and the rendering of the colors and the light in the trailer just throw it off.
All right.
Then my niggas in the street saying it's Tom Cruise as the variant. I don't know if it's Ultimate or whatever, but the variant Tony Stark.
Supreme Iron Man, I think is the name of that variant. Which in the comics is just a version of Tony Stark. It's not a variant. Okay. It's just him. Like, yeah.
And that's because when you cycle 2 more half a seconds through, all of a sudden what was once ethnic hair becomes straight white man hair. So I'm just like, okay.
My first thought seeing the trailer was Jean Grey, because it's so quick and it's so fast. And there was speculation, I'd heard this a while back, that there was a big fight between Wanda and a Fox character. So I was like, the only person who can go up against her is Phoenix. So that was my first thought. Then I saw the slowdowns and everything, and it just became like, all right, I don't know.
It became a mess.
Yes. Now, if we want to talk a quick mess, I just want to run through a list of characters who potentially could appear in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
If you don't want to hear this, skip ahead.
Yeah,
but
we'll give you the time.
Some people don't want to think about it, but just FYI.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say where or when any of that. I'm just going to run through names. All right? Doctor Strange, obviously. Wanda Maximoff. Agatha Harkness. Doctor Strange Supreme. Mordo. Defender Strange. Balder the Brave. Christine Palmer. The Ancient One. Mr. Fantastic. Rentra. Deadpool. Loki. Sylvie. Mobius. Kane the Conqueror. Caecilius, the villain of the first Doctor Strange. Because nobody remembers him. Black Bolt. Brother Voodoo. Hulk. Clea. Iron Man, Professor X, Spider-Man, Captain Carter, Ghost Rider, Magneto, The Watcher, Captain Marvel, Quicksilver, Wolverine, Billy and Tommy Maximoff, Nightcrawler, Daredevil, Captain America, Jean Grey,
Ghost Rider,
Magic, Black Widow. I almost didn't get through it.
How about this? At what point does it become do y'all see, open your eyes and say any motherfucker that was in a comic book between Inception and now could appear? When do y'all say, you know what? Fuck it. Anybody could appear.
I mean, that's where we're at with the Marvel Universe, And so that's why this speculation and all this is so wild to me because, why not? It could be anyone.
Why not? Right, yeah.
And it's been going on for years like this. Like people act like the Mephisto thing is some new thing, but there's always been like Beta Ray Bill to me is a big favorite of people being like, yo, Beta Ray Bill's in this movie, and then he's never in any of these joints. We want to
see that nigga. We watch too many cartoons, and we want to see that nigga. I understand the pain.
Yes, I fully understand. Beta Ray Bill is one of my favorites throwing back the comics. He's so ill. So, Beta Ray ill. There you go. So,
nice.
You like that?
You got to write that down.
Yeah, write that down, folks. New AKA. So, I don't know if there's much more to say about, this fan speculation. Wait, no, I do have one question or a couple questions because this is a good way to wrap this up. Did spoilers or speculation ruin your experience with the following films or properties? Infinity War Endgame. Hell no.
Say no, because and again, and that's the tightrope we walk, right?
Yes.
Because you remember how earlier you mentioned how we, for On Nerds, we had wild speculations about this, and
I was
again,
wrong.
It was all in fun, and everyone was in on it, our listeners and ourselves. I think because it was just so widely, with exception of maybe one or two things, minor things, when it came to the major things, we were completely off base.
Completely. I personally just did not believe that they were going to let him get all the stones together in this movie and snap his fingers.
Happened.
Yeah, and then it happened.
And that's why I'm like, that's when these people, the writers and all that stuff, like they have to bank on being 50 steps ahead, because it's like, how do you combat a people, fan base, or randoms that will go through the 50,000 different variations of what could happen, and we're still all wrong. I know for a fact no nigga who went to that theater thought that was gonna happen, because what happened when the stones was gathered and the man slapped his fingers and niggas started getting dusted? Everyone was dead silent. It was, the silent meant shock. Shock meant surprise. Surprise meant I had no fucking clue that was about to happen.
The other side of that coin is that you have to create things that hold up to repeated viewings. Like, people compare this with No Way Home and Infinity War Endgame, and they're like, will No Way Home's introduction of the Spider-Man hold up to Endgame's portal scene? And I'm like, I don't know, because I've seen Endgame's portal scene dozens upon times at this time, and it gives me chills every time, them dudes start coming through the portals. I don't know if that should be the same feeling for No Way Home. I think they're both great moments, and I think they both stand on their own. But it
depends on who's watching. It depends on how much you know and been involved in the MCU. Because if you're like me, who's been watching the Spider-Man, but like I said, I was in high school when the first Spider-Man came out, early. So like, to have all that backstory and then be rewarded with what we saw in No Way Home, it was an experience.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was.
It was absolutely an experience. But for someone who didn't see all the movies, they may not feel that way. They're like, all right, whatever. And then ultimately they'd say, no, the portal scene in Endgame was of higher note to them. And that's fine. But I just think it's so speculative. So I'm not speculative, subjective.
Yeah, definitely. And all this is all subjective.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that being said, for me, no, because I was blown away by both of those films and been blown away again and again.
Yeah.
No Way Home, I would say the same thing, because as much as I knew, I was sitting in the theater and I was still like, all right, maybe the Spider-Man aren't in it. Maybe this. And I was like, this is still a really good movie.
No.
I'm really enjoying this either way. So when they walked through that portal, I was like, oh, shit. I
wouldn't say it ruined it for me, only because I purposely started avoiding it. Like, I was like, the moment someone started saying, so y'all think, and this is what about to happen, like, I immediately just got off the app, moved the page, whatever, because it was getting to that point. And the things people were saying, because they were true leaks, as opposed to the streets is saying, they were true leaks. So I was like, oh God, these people are telling me things that are going to happen. So that's way, like, if I knew if I went into No Way Home with no understanding that the Spider-Man were coming out, I would have had a greater reaction to the scene when that portal opened up in the alleyway and Andrew Garfield walked through. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, that's not y'all Spider-Man. That's a different Spider-Man. And it was a very, like, I'm in on the joke type situation. Did it make a negative experience for me? No. But I felt differently than if I went in having no clue. I probably would have fucking jumped out my seat hard if that happened and I had no idea to expect the other Spider-Man.
I still jumped out my seat hard, dog. I was, you don't understand, my love for Andrew Garfield, in that Spider-Man series is something else. So I jumped on my seat. I mean, I was doing the same for Electro because he's from that shit. So, I was already all the way, out of it for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I knew Electro was in that shit, confirmed. So there was but it didn't matter. When he showed up, I was like, yeah, they're doing it, So,
It's
all right.
happening.
Yeah, it's happening. It's really happening. Okay, I think that's all we need to say about this subject on this week's episode of Focal Points on For All Nerds. We're going to take a quick break. Stay right with us, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Professor Brandon Obunu, a scientist who studies genetics and epidemics, and when I'm not doing long division, I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey yo, this is Danny Lore, and this is Vida Ayala, and we are Twin Speaks. And when we are not writing Ironheart or James Bond, we are listening to For All Nerds.
Hi, my name's Genevieve King, and I play Jackie Veda on Netflix's Lock and Key. When I'm not cooking up new recipes in my kitchen, then I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey everybody, this is Peter Ramsey. I am the director of Rise of the Guardians and one of the directors of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I like to listen to For All Nerds with Tatiana and the great Benjamin.
Hey, this is Hiro Kanagawa, actor and playwright, and you are listening to For All Nerds all the way.
Hi, this is Lexi Alexander, and I'm a filmmaker and a writer. And when I'm not playing with my vintage toys and feeding myself and my dog, then I'm listening to For All Nerds.
Hey, what's up? This is Ato Asado, and when I'm not on television and movie sets, I am listening to For All Nerds.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining us on this episode of For All Nerds. And before we go any further, let me remind you to make sure to follow us on all of the best social media platforms at For All Nerds. While you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe, follow whatever it is, wherever you can find better podcasts out there on every platform. Leave a 5-star rating at For All Nerds. That's all you got to do. Search for us at For All Nerds so you can get all of the various podcasts that For All Nerds drops for the fan fam. And if you're one of the few, the proud, the many, the millions,
And millions.
you can join us over at patreon.com/forallnerds, where your financial support helps us keep the light on, helps us pay all the staff, all of our team supreme, so we can continue to bring you all this beautiful content. And by beautiful, I mean you can watch us right now on twitch.tv/forallnerds. Make sure you follow over there. Or if you're really feeling given, you can hit the subscribe button, which also helps us, supports us financially. I almost got this whole commercial out without messing up. But it's all good. Thank you once again for joining us, because it is now time for the segment that you all know and love on For All Nerds, the Guac segment. The Geeknerddr Asked Questions. The Guac is extra, where we answer any and all listener questions. Hit us up anytime, any day. Contact at forallnerds.com, or hit us on the Twitters, the Instagrams at forallnerds. Send in your question. And you should know this already, but if you are one of the few, the proud, the many over at patreon.com/forallnerds, you can always ask the question, and it's guaranteed to get answered. It does not matter what it's about. Send them in, Patreon.
Okay. So the
Yep.
first question comes from our very own social media manager, Chica. She writes, "This is Chica, a.k.a. Bucky No Bundles, a.k.a. Wong's PTO slip, a.k.a. the chaos in Wanda's magic." Listen, child, that is the chaos. Chica has a series of questions. Oh, my Lord. Okay. One of the questions Chica mentions here. Okay, oh, my Lord. Since Cumberbatch's family owned slaves for real back in the day, shouldn't part of his Marvel checks go for reparations? What?
Wow. You know, I mean, the questions we can't answer were pretty rough and woof.
Why does cream corn exist? I don't like it. It's just not for me. It ain't for me either. I don't fucks with that. Or whatever.
Wait, we just not gonna answer the Patterson? I don't know.
Unless you have an answer for that.
No, I mean, I know that, like, I know that man, didn't want to use his name because his name is historically associated with owning slaves. So I wouldn't use the name for just the name. That's a tough one to get out the tongue in the first place. Like,
these are some hot, spicy questions.
I don't like cream corn either.
Yeah. The next one. We all think they're going to kill the Moth Girl in Ant-Man since she's anti-vaccine.
Who is the Moth Girl?
She's talking about the Wasp.
Oh,
Yeah, shit.
She is anti.
Ooh, I don't know if these going to get answers. Okay.
She gonna make it through Quantum Mania at the very least. She gonna at least make it to that.
Does the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon mean that all ethnic hobbits, elves, and whatnot were eradicated before the Lord of the Rings movie? Are they in Wakanda Earth? What would you call Middle Earth just for black people? Sincerely, Cheek. This is the chaos and Wanda's magic we're talking about.
Didn't they say that at the end they go to the West? Like when
Is that?
yeah, I think when the elves and stuff leave at the end of The Hobbit, they go to the West. I think that's like where their lands are. It's like Ned's land because Middle Earth is Middle Earth. Remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the West. All the black people went to the East. My brother to the East.
And that's why we ain't see these niggas at all when the War of Men happened in Lord of the Rings.
Because
the War of Man, all men.
Yeah, they know the age of men is over, but the age of black men, is eternal, folks.
Good answer. What would you call Middle Earth just for black people? Compton. No, I don't know.
No, because that's definitely not just for black people anymore.
Oh yeah. Damn, that's sad. Cue the sad horns, man. God damn.
To the east, I don't know. Ethiopia.
Addis Ababa, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Wakanda, it's always Wakanda. Wakanda forever, fam. Yeah. That's what I would call Middle Earth for black people, Wakanda.
Thank you, Chica, for your absolutely outrageous questions. Okay. The next, here we go. Hey, fam, what's good? Maze here, a.k.a. You ready, Ben? I'm
ready.
Liza. L-Z-A.
Like
the RZA.
But lizard, I don't know.
Liza. Maybe he meant lizard,
Yeah, that's but yeah.
Okay.
No.
Sandy Man. Like Candyman and Sandman put together? No?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Come on, man. Be honest. It ain't just me here.
It ain't bad. It ain't bad. I don't think it's
If I said
bad.
that to you.
It's questionable. It's questionable. All right. The next one I really like. Glock Ock.
That's not bad.
Glock Ock. That's actually that's pretty good. Anything gun related.
You're down with it.
Yeah, that works.
That should be rapper name, yeah. I can see I see a terrible rapper with that name.
Oh gosh, Here we go. Now you're gonna have the fans after us. Getty Green Goblin. I don't get that at all. Maybe you do. Nope. Okay. And the last one, Electro Boogaloo. Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Is it like Getting Green Goblin?
I don't know.
Either way, now let's keep it moving.
But Maze, that's like 1 out of 10 again. Like your batting average is pretty low. But I love that you keep trying. Like every week, we keep getting with these AKAs. Ben, with his absolute just like he's like no, immediately no.
I mean, these ain't good, Glock Ock, 1 out of 6.
Glock Ock was fire.
Yeah,
you got to give him that.
Yeah, I'll give him that. That's
all
good.
right. The question goes, let's talk 2022 content. I started jotting all of these DC and Marvel shows and movies down the other day and realized we are super spoiled with we are super spoiled this year with projects. This is the list. Peacemaker, The Batman, Moon Knight, Morbius, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, She-Hulk, Black Adam, Thor, Love and Thunder, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Part 1, The Flash, Batgirl, Werewolf by Night, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I Am Groot, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. If all of this holds, would this be the biggest year content-wise for the two? And by the two, again, he was referring to DC and Marvel.
Yeah, pretty easily. I mean, but it just grows every year. That's just how it's gonna be. Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. Is there a fourth series or is there just 3 series from Marvel on what do you call it this year?
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
At this point, shit. I mean, for sure. Like we said, you said
I've
Moon
heard
Knight,
rumors that Secret
She-Hulk.
Invasion is dropping this year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
When, like, Christmas time?
I don't
'Cause
know.
that's the timeline we in. After you mentioned these others, we're basically in Christmas time period now.
Well, like he has Werewolf by Night, and I keep hearing rumors of this, but I've seen no confirmation. But there's allegedly a Werewolf by Night, because Werewolf by Night, for those who don't know, is a character
don't.
related to Moon Knight. Moon Knight actually appeared in Werewolf by Night series. I just love that man's name. I'll say it every time because it's like he's a werewolf by night. So that was the name of the series, Werewolf by Night. I think my man's name is Jack Russell. I think it's Jack something. Anyway, he's a werewolf, and Moon Knight first appeared in his series, and they fought because Moon Knight was like the villain of his series, and then Moon Knight became his own character and got his own series, which is why we're watching this. But allegedly, there's a Werewolf by Night series dropping around Halloween. Also, very allegedly, the I Am Groot is confirmed, but the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but it seems likely because from what I know, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special takes place before Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which will be dropping next year. So you would want to drop a holiday special during the holidays, right? So, yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, so confirmed, that's what I'm still checking. Confirmed is only Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel. Only 3 series for Views from the 616?
Yeah. I think we're just out of the age of like just trickling entertainment, like, when it's just like, okay, because everything, particularly Marvel, is so mature now, just in terms of the not the timeline, but the
Delivery process.
delivery process, the
Yeah.
outlook, all of
The
it.
production.
It's just a well-oiled machine at this point.
Yes.
So now I'm expecting them to hit us with the goods. And now like especially when these trailers keep coming back to back, like the Super Bowl weekend we was eating good this Super Bowl weekend when it came to Marvel exclusives and drops and shit like that. So I just think I expect to be eating good. What I don't trust is DC. And I trust them to drop all the content all day. I don't trust that it's always going to be good.
Have you been watching Peacemaker?
No, but that's actually been getting
It's really good.
Feedback.
I'm up to the finale is this week. I've watched everything except the episode right before the finale because I wanted to save the last 2 for once. But yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It's James Gunn doing James Gunn with DC. So if you like Suicide Squad, you're gonna like it a lot. And I like Suicide Squad.
Feel like DC has been doing better when it comes to TV shows as opposed to films.
Well, I really like Suicide Squad a lot, the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the outlier. Like, for me, that's the outlier.
Yeah, it's a lot of outliers. Yeah, I'll say it's
like a pool of mess. So, as opposed to consistency across the board. So
you're hurting Maze's feelings right now, boy. Hurting him.
Maze, you asked for my opinion.
Yeah, I will say that I'm slightly looking forward more to Batman now. But it's like at the same time, every time I hear what Matt Reeves says about it, while it sounds good, Matt Reeves, the director, it sounds really good. It also sounds like when you break it down, like stuff I've seen before, and that's just how I feel about this Batman. I don't want to. I'm hoping it's not, man. I really am.
What have you not seen besides Catwoman's Black? Like, what have you not seen?
Well, a lot of people are looking forward to the relationship between Batman and Catwoman really being explored. I don't personally, because what Matt Reeves keeps talking about is other things. So I don't personally think this movie is going to give this enough time. I hope it does, but at the same time, I've seen.
I mean, it's giving relationship in the trailer. It's giving a deepness of appreciation in the trailer. I don't know how it's going to play out when you're actually sitting there watching it.
Yeah, what Matt Reeves is talking about is this is a year 2 Batman who is growing into his Batman, but I've seen that before in the Christopher Nolan run. And then he's talking about how this is more focused on Batman using his detective skills instead of Batman being, instead of the focus being on the villains. So that is something we'll see, but Batman just usually gets overshadowed by his villains no matter what medium it's in. So
them niggas be fire and hilarious and just watch. So I don't know if they're acted well, then I'm about to be about the villains. So
Yeah, we'll see. And I'd like to see it, but I mean, I'll just say it again and again. I would just like to see a Batman that's more akin to like the Batman that we see in the Justice League and the Batman animated series cartoon, who is
the one that
like
don't take no
adept.
shit for nobody, and the one that be like, I ain't doing shit that y'all asked me to do. I'm out.
But not even that. But the one who's like, adept has Robins, has a Bat family around him. The one that you see in the comic books a lot that I feel that we've never seen on screen, where it's like Batman and Robin, Batman with Batgirl, Batman with this whole family around him, Batman who integrates with the Justice League, Batman who's not super dark and super angry and super scarred, Yeah.
You know what? It's interesting, like, because this takes me back to and we'll go to the next question after, but this just takes me back to our conversation last time on the last episode we had about the fact that the darkness has taken over, and that's for the last 10, 15 years. But interestingly enough, this isn't the first darkness that appeared. Like, I realized, like, one of my favorite Batmans of all time is Batman Beyond. That was WB Kids, and while there was levity there was still lots of darkness, and it was very kind of serious tone. In some ways, I'm just like, damn, this is like a soap opera for me. So, at that age, so
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, the all the Batmans to that is connected. That's all Bruce Denny, right? Bruce Tinney. That's all connected. So. Like the original Batman animated series is super dark, or
Very dark.
like it's beyond. There's this one thing where they show his parents getting shot, I think, and the gun drips blood.
Yo,
They
used to go hard with us back in the day.
Yeah, I used to be watching that joint after school. Like, what is going on here? Like this is going hard. So yeah, I'm like,
I'm just saying, like, it really even predates. Even what we've seen with all of the films.
I mean, it goes like most people are imitating the Dark Knight Returns, the series by Frank Miller. That's where a lot of this draws inspiration from. And even another one is The Long Halloween, which is where Christopher Nolan drew a lot of inspiration from, and Matt Reeves says he's referencing. So it's like, once again, I might have seen this before, but I'm hoping for something else. But yeah, just like you, I'm much more anticipating all this Marvel goodness. Maze, there's a lot of great stuff coming out this year. I'm looking forward to Morbius even just to see what it's about. Love and Thunder, Thor, I think might even top Doctor Strange, and I think Doctor Strange is going to be incredible.
That's saying a lot.
That's
saying a lot, man.
It is.
I don't know about that, but
we going to see. She-Hulk, I'm really hoping that Black Adam lives up and that The Rock's 12-year journey to this movie pays off and he's just not playing The Rock again. Batgirl looks dope. The Flash might be dope. Spider-Man, come on, we know Spider-Verse, out of control. Wakanda. I mean, this is years past. Like, we ain't even gotten to Wakanda Forever. This year's out of control.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question comes from J Shep 831. They write, what random Marvel Universe character would you lose your shit over if it's in the Multiverse of Madness?
Let me go back to this list.
Well, actually, while you go back to this, I'll answer.
Yep.
A dark-skinned Storm.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, that was cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
I
was like, oh my God, it's actually Storm. Thank you. Welcome to the party.
Cold as ice. There's so many. You could name anybody, but
but no, you specifically.
A dope Jean Grey, since we're being cold-blooded right now. Cold-blooded.
No, you know who I would lose my shit over? It's probably not gonna happen. Rogue. If Rogue, like a
dope Rogue,
Rogue. I mean,
Rogue ain't gonna happen unless this is their way of introducing her, and then she jacks Captain Marvel's powers in the same movie. Like, that's way too much, because like
if a dope Gambit appeared, I'd lose my shit.
I'd be like, whatever.
Well, I'm sure, but that's Rogue and Gambit and Storm were my initial faves when I first got into Marvel characters.
Rogue is one of my. I mean, you don't understand. Like, as a kid, I was in love with her. Like, Rogue is like my heart. Like, Rogue goes back. Like, that's one of my favorite characters of all time. I just don't like Gambit for her. Like I've always hated that relationship.
You don't want the South to rise again? What do you mean?
It's just one of it's my same thing with Black Panther and Storm. It's like, oh, the two black people are together. Oh, the two people from New Orleans.
The two Asians are together.
It's like, that shit was so so whack. And I was a big fan of the Rogue long shot Dazzler love triangle. So one, Gambit to me was always a fake ass long shot. And so that's my hate of him. And so then when he interrupted that love triangle, I was kind of upset. And then Dazzler, and then long shot, who I love, ended up with whack ass Dazzler instead of Rogue, who he should have been with. I was upset. But
well,
yeah,
you're gonna remain upset because they ain't gonna fix that for you.
No. I've accepted it now, and I actually like their relationship in current X-Men comics. I'm a Gambit Road fan. I've given in.
Gotcha. All right. Next question comes from Monique J. Their is at Gotta Love Mo. Oh Lord, here we go. Let me spread out for this one. Let me stretch. They write. What did y'all think of Matrix Resurrections?
This is a whole nother episode. Let me say this real quick, right? Let me as quickly as I can, because I have a Twitter thread. I've been working on this, but I never finished. Matrix movies and the Clerks films, the Clerks series by Kevin Smith, at this point both suffer from the same problem, is the absolute privilege of their creators. While I very much enjoy, because if you've seen the latest Clerks film, I can't remember what it's called. I didn't know it was out. I watched it on cable recently. I used to be a biggest fan. I mean, I'm still a big fan of Kevin Smith, but the original Clerks movie is one of my favorite movies of all time because it's super funny and it's super meta. It's one of the first films where people were talking about things that I grew up with, like Star Wars. Like the characters were having discussions about Star Wars. So that's why I always loved Clerks. Matrix was also very meta in the fact that it referenced all these things. It's not directly where they're like, yo, we're doing Kung Fu like the old Kung Fu movies. But, it was referencing all these things. It was referencing the Japanese shoot 'em up flicks as well as the Kung Fu, all these different things, right? So when I seen the latest Clerks, I had this revelation because the latest Clerks is trying to do the same thing that Matrix is trying to do. It's basically trying to shit on the idea of sequels and running a franchise into the ground. But both of these films are doing it while making money off of these franchises that could be used for other things other than being run into the ground. Like, you don't have to make a Matrix movie where it's just... I do applaud them because Warner Brothers at the end said, we're not doing any more Matrix movies. So that was kind of ill because it was like they really shit on themselves so much that now nobody wants to touch the franchise anymore. And I think that was their intent.
Was it their intent, though?
Yes.
Or was it Lana's intent?
I think it was Lana's intent.
It was self-torpedoed to the point where Warner Brothers had no choice.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers is but that's what you said. You said it was Warner Brothers.
Oh, no, I'm saying they because I'm referencing Lana as they,
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they wanted this. Lana wanted this. Definitely wanted the self-torpedo, perfect analogy or phrase right there. Wanted to self-torpedo this franchise into the ground. So that I applaud them for. But it's the absolute privilege to take millions of dollars and do this when people are struggling to make film and make content, make whatever. I hate using the word content, making film. And they just had the privilege to sit there and be like, sequels are bad. Look at it. We might make this stupid movie because sequels are bad. And so that's my problem. And that's what I thought of Matrix Resurrections and Clerks, straight shots at them over there.
You touched on what my ultimate issue with Matrix Resurrections was.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate argument that the true fans or the true believers give is that this was Lana Wachowski's ultimate fuck you to the establishment of the WB and the powers that be and thereof. Heard, understood, I see it. It was very heavy-handed. I see what you were going.
I mean, it would slap you in the face, boy.
It would slap you in the face like, okay, like it one of the characters even said it as a meta, non-meta moment. Warner Brothers is going to make this picture with or without you.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is literally probably verbatim what an executive told Lana to their face.
Yep.
The issue is similar to what you're saying about the privilege and all the other stuff because as time is going, and again, I'm one of those fans, like, I'm not, and that's, once again, we talk about tightrope. I talk about tightrope over here. This is a tightrope you walk as a creator. You may be like having this struggle behind the scenes with this big company or this big entity about your creative that they're being forced to essentially make, right? And maybe you've been able to communicate that to the public or not, right? But for people who don't know all the backstory or the history, all you see is, yo, another Matrix movie is coming out, and this is what it's going to be about, and this is a reboot, getting the new generation, da-da-da. As a pure fan, and I'm just talking about my own experience, you're fucking excited. You're just looking forward to it. You're just like, oh my God. Because I've always, regardless of the missteps and the misgivings of the Matrix as a trilogy, I always thought the Matrix, the original and overall, thought was brilliant. I have been obsessed with that film to the 10th degree since it came out. And carried on that love and obsession for many years. Was I banging on doors like Maddie in Euphoria to get shit made again? No. But I still was very much into it. So then when they were saying, yo, this is happening again, and we're bringing on this, we're bringing on that, I'm like, all right. Oh, this is going to be off the... I'm thinking... I'm just giving so much energy to it, like, yo, this is about to be lit, so on and so forth. And not just that, forget being lit. I'm just going in there with appreciation for the character. I'm going in appreciation for you as a creator. I'm going in appreciation for your work. So I'm sitting there like a fucking dummy, like, okay, I'm about to see whatever it is I'm about to see. This is going to be some brilliant shit. And every 20 minutes, my heart sunk because I felt like it was a fuck you to me. How dare you, as an idiotic viewer, think that? Why would you think that we would really care about what you feel about this? This is my crusade against the WB and Warner Brothers, and I'm going to torpedo it because I fucking can. You have that right. Some people will hear what I'm saying now and argue, well, you misinterpreted what Lana's point was, and it wasn't about you, and da-da-da-da. But I'm a viewer. I'm one of the reasons why WB said what they said about, well, we're going to make this anyway, because there's people who want to watch it. There's people who want to partake and hopefully enjoy it. And as the minutes kept going and going, and this shit was like clearly a slap in the face to WB of sorts, it also felt like a slap in the face to me. Because I was like, fam, I was waiting, like, once it was first announced, I was like, oh, yo, I'm waiting for this. I'm looking forward to this. And then it was just like, what the fuck is this? And I'm not, and again, I got it. I got the subterfuge that was going on, okay? I got what she was trying to, and I apologize if Lana's pronouns are they. I understand what they were trying to say. I understand what they were trying to do. And clearly, the cast was in on it. There's no fucking way you're telling me Keanu 100%. And Carrie Ann and the rest of them didn't read that motherfucking script and say, oh yeah, this is the best fucking thing you've ever written in life. No, they was like, oh, we get you. We get what your point is, okay? Mm-hmm. And they kept it, they kept the laughs under wraps when they was doing interviews.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no motherfucking way you read that script about Saboba or Sabubu or whatever the fuck that animal machine hybrid that was like, looked like a Care Bear next to Sati. There's no way you read that in a script and says this makes sense.
That stuff, I actually like that stuff. Like I said, there were concepts in the film.
It was some of them concepts are like from the Animatrix and stories like that, but the way it was executed was ridiculous. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, are you fucking serious? And yes, you're intentionally doing that, but it's just like, well, fuck, what the fuck was I looking forward to this for? Like, why did I even hype myself up for this thinking it was supposed to be one way? And it's just you going, ha ha, he he, fuck you. Because I'm sitting here for 2.5 hours saying, damn, fuck me.
Yeah. Pretty much, and that I have no argument. And like this one thing that I've seen, like you said, people have said you misinterpret. People said, all the people who are not cis straight, didn't, they love it. And I'm like, man, nah, fam. Like y'all, y'all got to do better than that. That's some real wild ass, like, oh, you're cis and straight, so you don't get it. I'm like, no, I get it because it's not like I didn't get the first Matrix, and it's not like I wasn't some person who didn't understand that there was still a lot of like wild. I get, the ideas, the trans encoding that is in the first Matrix films. It's like a movie about assuming whatever identity you want. Mm-hmm. it's a movie about stepping out of this shell of a den. It's like same thing is said in Star Wars. Same thing is said in any major religion when you look at the core of it. That's not, really, that's to me basic thinking. But once again, I grew up on Star Wars. I grew up on knowing that your body is not your physical form, etc.
Yeah. The point is the underlying themes and the realities are not lost upon
No.
us. It's obvious. It's just the way it was executed. It was like, did you have to do it like that?
Did you
have to do it like that?
Like I've explained on the show before, Grant Morrison says the same thing. They, referencing Grant this time, says that The Matrix took a lot from his work or their work, Invisibles, and once they stopped taking from Invisibles and from other sources, they really didn't have much to say. So that's the problem I've always had with The Matrix. As much I love the overall theme of it, I've also felt like the second two movies turned very Western and very Judo-Christian,
Judo-Christianity, yeah.
Christianity when it made Neo the star of the show. And Jesus, I mean, literally. So
the only other argument that pops up in my head as we're thinking this is that people will say, well, Lana doesn't owe you anything.
No, they don't.
This is Lana's platform, and I'm just like, okay, sure. However, is this not a property that got made because of a fan base or people who want to watch it? Did you still not get millions upon millions of dollars to do this?
Yes.
That's why I'm just like, it's so weird because it's like, I get it. And also I'm just like, that's still fucked up to me.
Yeah. And it's like, I hate when people are like, it was just a money grab. Because I don't think either of these films.
I don't think it was a money grab. And it's clear that that's not what Lana was trying to do here, but.
Because Lana doesn't need the money. I don't think Kevin Smith needs the money, and there's other ways for them both to get money that doesn't involve shitting on their own properties. But they just felt like making these statements. And I feel like their statements are so clouded by privilege that they don't realize the statements they're making.
That's what we think about the Matrix research. I'm upset. I was big mad.
I was big mad about the Clerks too.
At the end of the day, you just say, yo, she was just big mad. Yeah, motherfucker, I was big mad. Yeah, that's the gist of it. So, whatever.
Clerks is so terrible. At one point, like near the end, Kevin Smith shows up as himself, and he's like, oh man, I love this movie right now. The characters have gone through their arcs. They've done this and that. They've grown from this point. Like he basically explains how, basic storytelling. Like, your character's gone through this and changed. All the needs is to wrap up denouement. Let's just go to that. And they cut to it. And it's like.
They actually say it.
He says it because he's himself. He's Kevin Smith, the director. And so at one point he's just like, oh yeah, I love this movie.
I don't find cleverness and shit like that. I don't, and that's probably why I'm so big mad. It
might be, but it's not. And
it's not done clever. It's not clever. It's like you just fuck you. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Okay, I guess that's your right. But it's like, well, shit. Where does that leave me, the viewer? I'm just sitting here and I'm getting strays. I'm catching strays because you mad.
Yeah. And in Clerks, the characters didn't go through any of those arcs. It was, this reboot. I love the original Clerks. It's such a classic. And it's just like Matrix. It's like both of these were classics and they feel desecrated. I wasn't a fan of the new Ghostbusters either. I'll just say that.
Oh God! Okay, we gotta finish our clock.
Yeah, because people are just catching strays, and I don't just throw strays. Rest in peace to Ivan Reitman. He just passed away, the director and creator of the original Ghostbusters. Rest in peace. Hurts you got to live to see that, bro.
Yes. The last question comes from Riz at the Rizdon. They write, there's two questions. One, do you think that there will be or is already fatigue with open world games? Think like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, no. I just think it's one of the things. It's like, you make your choice on what you play because you can give me 10 more open world Spider-Man superhero set games and I'm playing them all.
Yeah. I don't think there ever will be because of the concept of discovery.
Yes.
That is a humanistic concept of exploration and discovery and of surprise and of story. And when it's done well, I will fucking explore an open world game for 60, 80, 90 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't matter to me. If it's intriguing and compelling, I'm gonna be in that bitch. And it's just because those concepts I just mentioned tap into the core needs of a lot of people in general and of the imagination in general, it's never not evergreen. I personally believe you will always have an open world game. Even look at GTA. That's open world. You'll never see people who don't want to walk around, run over people, get 5 stars, fly a helicopter into a stadium. Like, you'll never not get people who don't want to play something like that.
There's a 5-hour free preview of Cyberpunk now because they just dropped a new fix for like that upgrades everything.
They to fix to
I mean, a massive. The fix alone was like 40 gigs, and it does so much to the game. Like, I was reading the rundown, and so they gave out a 5-hour free preview. So I'm about to rock that. So
yeah,
nope.
All right, and 2, what's a cartoon from your childhood that's gotten funnier as you've gotten older, and why?
Oh man, all of them. The Simpsons goes back to my childhood, and it's like when you go back to those early episodes, the brilliance of them is just like out of control. Same with like Animaniacs and what's the Tiny Toons, like
I would say like the older cartoons like that because they had so much adult humor. And as a kid, it's buried. You don't even, it goes right over your head. But as an adult, you catch that shit right away. And it's like, oh shit, this is what these niggas were talking about. Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls. Like, there's so much innuendo in all of these shows from early Cartoon Network days. And it's like, it don't hit until you're older. And it's like, oh shit, that's fucking hilarious. So those were like, for me, those were the ones, like the Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Any of those, I mean, anything like, once again, we mentioned it before, but Batman, the animated series, all those type of things. Those aren't as funny, but they're just the levels to them. I appreciate so much more. The storytelling in those series and those 30-minute episodes, just absolute prime storytelling.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for the guac this week. If you have a question for us, it could be about absolutely anything. It could be in a geek culture space, it could be in a pop culture space, combination thereof, or none of those. Hit us up, contact@forallnerds.com. That way you can hit us up on the emails. If you have a longer question, maybe want some privacy, whatever it is, do you. Otherwise, you can hit us up every week on the socials @forallnerds. We typically will put up a post, and you can put your question up under that post for the guac question. If you are on patreon.com/forallnerds. At any point, you can ask us a guac question. Just send us a message, and we will read it, and we will keep track of it. And am I missing something else about the guac? I don't think so. I think that's because I feel like there's another way to tell us about guac. I mean, if you
hit
see
us on
the
social
street.
media, hit us on Patreon. Yeah, if you see us on the street, you can email us, contact@forallnerds. Yo, that question really got me thinking though, right? Because I'm a little older where, I'm before Powerpuff and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm trying to think of a cartoon that was like, the Saturday morning or the after school joints. Because that's another thing. Like, animation has shifted, and it shifted to more like, because of things like Simpsons and Family Guy, even the Saturday morning and after school cartoons got really much more fast paced and jokey.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all my joints was drama, it was
very dramatic.
It was like Dungeons and Dragons was like Dungeons and Dragons was like these kids trying to get back home. He-Man, She-Ra were all like fighting.
My childhood cartoons was fucking gargoyles. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, Gargoyles was super dark. Like that. Yeah,
like you said, Batman and Man,
Transformers,
Superman anime series, all this shit. Beast Wars.
I mean, G1. Optimus Prime gets murked. That was my childhood. Optimus Prime dying.
By the time I came in, it was CGI Transformers.
Yeah,
no. So it was when they would turn into animals and shit.
And I came in, was going to the theater, hyped as hell. You want to talk about a moment. Hyped. I'm about to break a lot of kids' heart again. Hyped as hell. Knowing nothing. Oh my God, it's Transformers the movie. I've watched this cartoon every day. And then they killed Optimus Prime in the first 20 minutes.